Hello, my friends. How are you? So I'm here with my buddy Gary. We've been hiking with each other for a few years now, Gary. Got to be
three. 2.5, 3 years.
So first question. This is a property you just moved into. How many years you been here?
It's been a little over 2 years.
A little over two years. And then where you lived before in Mass is when we started hanging out and hiking together.
Right.
And then you picked up this spot up here, and we talk a lot. I always say the back 40. Gary's got a lot of property out back. It's all forested back here. Now, is there anything, how far do you think it goes back?
Well, I've never actually been up all the way through, but, if you go by the road part and then cut over to the street just behind here, I'm going to guess it's probably a good, 3 or 4 miles maybe.
Of just
woods, yep. Just woods.
All right, so the first thing I do want to ask you, have you ever had a sighting of what you believe to be Sasquatch, Bigfoot, anything like that?
Well, one time when you and I were out, I think it was last summer, we were out in the back 40, and I think it was, maybe 75, 80 degrees out. And it started getting warmer after, but then you were doing something with your videos, and we actually ended up going back to the house. And then when I watched the video after you put it on YouTube, actually my wife was with me. She actually said, "What was that?" She actually saw something on the video that we missed. So we went over it again, and all of a sudden, behind one of the trees where you had panned without actually knowing what you were filming,
right,
there was this black figure. Looked like a Sasquatch coming behind a tree and took a few steps, and then you had panned away from it. But we kept going over and over. I'm saying that's more than likely the Sasquatch. Was it definitely one? I'm not going to say that,
exactly.
But it looked like one to us. People on YouTube can check out that video. It's on there now.
Yep, that video is what did we capture on video? I think was the name of it.
Right.
Even though it's on film, even though my phone is not filmed at all. But
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's I think it's what did we see or capture on video? I can put it
something like that.
Put it down here on the bottom of the screen, the name of the video, so you can check it out, and I'll put a timestamp on there.
Yeah. It was definitely a weird thing for her to catch, and then that's when I called you right away. I said, "Dave, check this out."
I know we didn't even see it.
Didn't see it.
My editing process, I never saw it. I didn't even know. And
that's what I
was at work, and I remember you called and said, "You got to check out timestamp 30 something," and I was just like, I don't know what to say. And we both have an opinion on what it is. I won't say it's a Bigfoot because it didn't introduce itself as Bigfoot, so I don't know what to say.
I think we both know that it more than likely was, but again, we're not going to say it was because we don't know for sure. It looked like it could be. I don't think somebody was out there in a ghillie suit when it's 75 degrees.
Pretty dangerous when you're carrying a high-powered rifle, and I've got a very high-powered sidearm on me. I don't think anybody's
so more than likely it was, but I'm not going to sit here right now and say it was. I think that's the only possible sighting I've had. Yeah.
All right. Let's touch on. I do briefly want to talk about how the the changes on the back 40. The first time we went out to blaze a trail, we brought the ribbons and all that.
Right.
I think maybe we saw one old tree break.
If that.
And there was no sign, would you agree, no sign of Sasquatch or...
When I first moved here in November of 2020, you came down the first time. We took a walk to see what was there. Of course, I had gone through it myself, but if there was one old break, we were lucky. There was no sign of any kind of, construction, no breaks, no other structures, nothing.
Yeah, but, I mean, because when we go out, we'll often see stuff and say, "Oh, that's potentially natural." There, your back 40 was void of anything like that.
Correct.
Now, fast forward to today. What does your back 40 look like right now?
it's unbelievable. It just seemed like it went from nothing to, oh my God. I mean, everywhere you turn, as you know, there's breaks everywhere. There's big logs stuck 20 feet up in a tree. There's structures, there's bends, there's, no matter what, where you go out there, there's something. It's amazing what happened in 2 years.
Yeah, now
Unbelievable.
That log in particular, I'm going to put a photo of it up here, just so you guys get an idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it is amazing how it has changed. It's unbelievable to go to be hiking in a place. We blazed the trail, and then it seemed like little by little, but it was over a long span, over a couple of years. Right. It is completely different.
I personally think that the couple that lived here before, because we had talked to them a bit when we came to look at the place, that they never went out there. The husband was on the road all the time with his business. The wife was stuck at home with the dogs, and no one ever went back there as far as I know. So when we got here, we started going out there a lot. Me, because I lived here more than you, but I was out there 3 times a week looking around. Even put some trail cameras out for a while to see if I can see anything. And all of a sudden, over time, like Dave said, it just got more breaks, more bends, all kinds of things that came up. So today, it's like they've been here for years and years. It's unbelievable what's out there now.
Yeah, you would think that they had, a rave party out there. If somebody had stepped on your back 42 years ago and did not return till today, they would say something's going on here.
Exactly.
Now, for us, it was gradual, and a lot of the times we'll be out, and it's like, was that there last time?
I know.
And now there's so much out there that we can no longer.
It's hard to say.
Oh, that wasn't there. Now it's, except for obvious things like that massive log up in that tree. We would have saw that 2 years ago because we're looking for.
There are some things that we can notice right away because it's so outstanding. A lot of stuff we don't even remember was there because there's so much stuff out there.
Right.
You can't even keep track of it all. We document a lot of stuff, take pictures, trail camera stuff, like I said, but it's hard to tell what's been changed from last week to this week. It really is.
Right. So, what do you think? How because you've done gifting with food. Can you talk a little about how long were you here before you did the food gifting? Which is very controversial because you do know a lot of people in the Bigfoot community say you shouldn't. But
well, I first started doing that gifting because I wanted to see. And I put a couple trail cameras out to see what was out there. Actually, I don't know what was out here when I moved in. I wanted to give it a test, like put a couple cameras out and put some food out to see what would come take it. See what's out here for animals or whatever. And I'd say maybe 2 months, 3 months after I got here, I started doing that. And what's very strange about that is I started putting out more cameras. I think at one time I had 4 of them out there, all pointing towards a certain location. And I put out some candies, some cakes, some apples, you name it, peanuts, whatever.
And this was your original, the one on the big boulder.
Yep.
Way up.
It was way up, right.
Yep.
And, the little sausages they sell, the Vienna sausages they sell. And I'd go back and retrieve the cameras with the SD card and check it out on the computer. Now, all the items were gone, but there was nothing on the camera that showed what took it. And I'd say, that can't be. So I did this like several times, 5, 6, 7 times with cameras and gifting. And every time was the same result. You see the food, the snacks, the gifting, and then the next frame, all of it's gone, but nothing that took it. And it's been happening ever since day one. If I went out there today and put apples out with the camera pointing at it, it just showed one frame of all the apples or whatever's out there, and then the next frame would be no apples, but nothing taking it. I can't explain it.
This happened pretty much right from the beginning when you first put out the trail cams. So I remember us talking. Okay, maybe something happened to the camera, right? And it's just missing it somehow. But after 5, 6, 7, 8 times in that same spot on that boulder up there, it keeps happening.
Right.
it has to. It's getting to a point where the frustration is building. Of what am I wasting time here? It gets to be ridiculous. So while we're on this subject of the gifting, you moved it at one point.
I did move it because I wanted to try to get it closer to the house, but still yet far enough back where maybe I can possibly start seeing stuff from my deck in the back, and pointing cameras that way. Besides that, where it was on the rock, I figured other animals, could come and get that too. But when I set it up in a certain area over here, it was at a place where something taller or bigger had to get it. So maybe I'd be able to catch something if it was a Bigfoot, maybe on the trail cam. But same thing, I put them out there, the gifts and the apples, especially the apples, which they supposedly like. They were all gone. I'm talking 8 to 10 apples at a time. Apples all gone and nothing on any camera at all.
And you had multiple angles with these cameras.
I had 4 cameras out the time. I have 5 altogether. I put 2 cameras way back on one side, and then the other side where the apples were, I had 2 more. And I ran them for a few days. Some I ran for a couple of weeks. All the stuff is gone. All the gifting is gone. And then nothing's showing what took it.
That's ridiculous, and the fact that it's not the camera malfunctioning because you saw squirrels, birds.
Yep.
Now you had changed this to a stand-up pole. I want to talk about that spot.
Yep.
It's a pole. It's almost like a flower or a pot holder, where it's about 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall, and it has little hooks hanging from it. And you put maybe a bird feeder or a plant or something like that, and you loaded that up the basket with all kinds of apples and stuff like that. And what happened with that?
Absolutely nothing. For some reason, I put out this weave basket I bought, and I hung it from one of the hooks, as Dave said. And I went out and bought, because I heard this from another YouTuber, that they like dried fruit and apples and carrots, stuff like that. I put a bunch of stuff in this basket, never touched. And I'd go back a little while later, and it would be like from the rain, be all, smushed up. I had to get rid of that, and I tried it again. I did this several times. Nothing ever took anything from that basket.
So
nothing.
About 30, 40 feet away is the backstop for you. You have a little shooting range out back.
Correct.
And me and you built this backstop,
yep.
Which I'll put up some photos of that here so you get an idea what we're talking about. So you took it from that pole, yep. with the basket, and you moved it to where?
Actually, I took all the apples, just the apples, and I put them on top of the backstop.
Railroad ties, like about 6, 7, almost 6.5
yep.
feet up.
Yep, almost 7 feet up, 6.5 to 7 feet high, and I put probably 10 apples on top of there. And I put the cameras out again, see what would happen.
And how many cameras you think again with the backstop?
4 cameras. 2 facing this way and 2 from that way. All converged on that one spot with the backstop. And every time I'd go retrieve the camera and put the SD card in the computer, same damn thing. Apples gone, apples are there at it, next frame, apples are all gone, and nothing showing what was taking it.
So now, you had mentioned earlier, if you had to guess with these most recent happenings with the backstop, how many times do you think you've put apples out there and the same result happens?
10 or 12 times.
At least.
Yep.
So you're spending a pretty penny to feed something out there that is deciding not to
show itself.
Not to show itself.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so to this point, nothing has been seen on the trail cams. Nothing. It's all just been the second to last photo is apples, the next photo, gone, nothing in between.
Right, it's like something invisible took him, but even then, if it wasn't invisible, you'd probably see it grabbing the apple. But even if it was a squirrel, a raccoon, or whatever it was that took it, you'd think the camera would pick it up and show it. But it just goes from apples to no apples, and they disappeared. It's like someone snapped their fingers and they just flew away or something.
Yeah, right. And that's crazy. It's almost, I think we talked about before we sat down. Talk about what you think, how it doesn't get captured on
I don't know. I have a lot of theories of what it might be, but I personally, after thinking about it for so long, because it's happened so many times to me, that if it is Sasquatch or Bigfoot coming to get the apples, because I know they've been out there at least at some points, that they may manipulate the electronics, which is being said by YouTubers all over the place. You know that their flashlights go off or their cameras don't work when they're around or something like that. They give off some kind of interference, let's say. I think that may be the reason why, if they come around and they go towards the apples or for them, maybe they do something to stop the camera or wipe something. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, because anything like a squirrel, even a crow or a chipmunk or a raccoon, you would see that on the camera being taken. Squirrel, whatever it is. But when you see apples on the camera, in the next frame there's nothing there but nothing being taken, it's just not possible. It doesn't make any sense.
Like you said, it's almost like whatever is doing this, call it whatever you want, has some ability to freeze it or shut it off. Or you can't. It wouldn't shut off, because then you would have no final photo, final picture of no apples. So somehow
it'd be black, and then that would be it. But it would be off. But it's not. It's actually continuing to work. You know, to show all the pictures. If the wind blows, you'll see the leaves, everything moving.
And it triggers that camera.
It triggers the camera. That's right. That's why a lot of times you see nothing but, you know, the leaves and the branches are moving in the wind, but it still shows it because there's some movement. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that was it, or they were actually doing it. But I can't think of anything else why it wouldn't show what would be taking the apples.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense that, you know, animals aren't invisible, so something it isn't like the apples blew off or just flew away. We put them on there and they were stable. It showed the apples throughout 7, 8, 9, 10 photos, you know.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're gone, but nothing being shown taking it. And it's just doesn't make any sense.
And like I had said earlier, it would almost be like, say it's a Sasquatch and it's cloaked. You would see the apple floating in air, right? So what fascinates me about it is not one is gone, not two, all are gone, not one photo. Not a photo of it rolling off the front. Does that take video?
Yes. I usually set it to video.
Okay. You set it to video.
And let me add this real quick, that if it was animals, just say it was something jumped up there, a squirrel or something climbed on the backstop, right? Most animals are going to stay there and eat it. On the ground, there would not one seed from an apple, not one peel, not one piece of apple anywhere within freaking 10, 15, 20 yards, nothing around. So I believe whatever took them away, because you would see with an animal, even was a bear, they'd come and he'd grab it, eat it, and leave some kind of seeds or something there, right? A peel or a piece of an apple. There's never anything on the ground.
Right, it's not. Most animals are opportunistic. It finds an opportunity, it's going to sit there and eat it right there. Right. It's not going to take it back to its.
Stick it under their arms and walk away.
Right.
You know, that's another thing. If it was an animal, they would grab it. Oh, look, apple! They got it, and they eat it right there. Leave a couple seeds hanging or a piece of skin or something, but there's never any trace of apples anywhere, anytime.
And we did have the incident with the peanut butter, which was crazy. You put out a peanut butter.
Yep.
I think it was a jar.
It was a jar.
So, and then something...
Because the jar was actually, we closed it back up, not tight, but tight enough where it's just not going to fall off. Probably 3 or 4 turns.
Yep.
And when we got back to check it, it was gone. The jar was like 25 feet, 30 feet away next to a big tree, empty. So something, more than likely with hands, had to open it. I don't think a squirrel was going to move around like this and open it.
And I mean, I've seen an octopus open up something like that, but there's not too many of those out there.
No, I don't think so. So that's another strange thing. You were there when that happened.
Yeah, actually, I was the one that found the peanut butter jar. That's right. Like, this is just getting weird.
Not only that, it wasn't like there was nothing. The glass was like cleaned. like something that licked it out or cleaned it, because there wasn't even a little smidgen of peanut butter left in there. But the cap was gone somewhere. Just a jar up against a tree, completely cleaned out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And again, so something took it and walked away with, or crawled away, or
Whatever.
took it away from that gifting area.
Yep. Yep.
I want to talk about the ribbons, but before I do, I wanted to ask you
if anything changed. I believe it was somewhere beginning of summer, maybe around that time, give or take a few weeks. I didn't go that far, probably maybe half a mile out here in the back. I went out there looking around. I think I was looking at a break or a bend or something, and then I just happened to look across a ways, and I saw this. I can't even say what it was for sure, but it looked like some kind of an animal or something. But it looked like about 3 or 4 feet high, but it was on all fours. What was weird about it, it almost looked like a human figure, like baldish, kind of off-whitish, but kind of high. And to me, if it stood up, it probably would have been at least 6 feet, maybe 6.5 feet. I don't know, but it was on all fours. Like I said, it looked kind of bald. It looked like a strange creature to me. I'm not sure. And then, I don't know if I moved a little bit with my foot and stepped on a leaf or a branch and made a noise, but it turned towards me like this. And I just got scared. And I started running back towards the house. Like, I don't know if it was going to chase me or not. So I finally ran up to where the backstop is, and to see if it was chasing me. If I looked around, I had my shotgun with me, of course, and I didn't see it. So I started looking around more if I could see it. I think it might have got scared when he saw me, and then went up the hill maybe. And then after thinking about it for a while and remembering what I saw on some YouTube videos or what I heard, I think it looked something like a rake.
right.
That's what I think I can refer it to, because it had the same color scheme, color pattern, like an off-whitish, maybe like just skin color maybe.
Yeah.
Bald, and just that skinny figure. But it was on all four, but it had skinny arms, It was just weird. It just, to this day, I don't know what it was, but if I had to put a name to it, I'm going to guess it was like a rake. Do I have proof on that? No, but to me, someone asked me, I said, I think I saw a rake. It looked like the same thing that they describe a rake on TV.
It was enough to send you in the other direction.
Yeah, I got
armed, even armed.
Even armed. I mean, I wasn't even thinking of maybe, should I take a picture? Duh. But, I just ran the other way. And then I stopped and I said, well, I got a shotgun. So
yeah, I'm on my own property. Why am I running away?
Yeah, you think about that after. But
of course.
The first reaction is it chasing me? It saw me. Maybe it was going to come after me. That's what I thought of.
Right.
So, I hightailed it back like a little baby. And then I took my shotgun out when I'm near the backstop, and I'm like looking around. Didn't see it. I'm assuming it hightailed it up the hill. But I gotta say, it kind of scared me for. Well, this is my own personal belief or understanding of it, that I think it's mostly human, but also part animal. I mean, I'm gonna say 95 or more % human. I also think it's much more intelligent than we are. It has so many abilities that we don't even comprehend. That's what I believe. I have heard that some of them are aggressive, like when they talk about that place in Alaska, Port Lock, whatever it's called.
Oh, yes. Port Lock, Alaska.
They found parts of bodies and floating in the stream or river, whatever. Again, do they have proof of that? I don't know, but they say they have a different name for it, Nantucket, whatever they call it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
But there are some aggressive ones, I believe, that I've heard of. I wouldn't know. I never saw them enough to be aggressive, but I think for the most part, I think they're here to help us. I think most of them are gentle. And, one of I've heard stories of them helping people out. And, again, I think they're very intelligent and just want to, I think they're just people of the forest. They just want to be left alone, not bothered. And actually, we should be looking up to them because they know what this world is really about. You know, that they're in tune with, the spiritual world, and like I said, have other abilities that we don't have. Whether they go through portals like people say, I don't know, but it seems logical. And I think they're mostly human, maybe part animal, but I think they've been here a lot longer than we have on this earth.
Yeah, that's fair, and there is no, as Wes says on Sasquatch Chronicles, there is no right answer because nobody has an answer to that question.
Exactly. That's just what I believe, and I could be way off, but from what I feel about it and what I've heard and seen, that's what I think. What it is, and I'm still waiting for hopefully to have a closer encounter with them. Whether I went away or not, I don't know. I can sit here right now and say I would love to see one, and then maybe when I see one, I don't know. I can't say.
As I often say in almost every video, or I've said it many times, be careful what you wish for. Because,
exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to go up to them and shake their hand. Or I don't know. I could run away too, but I'm hoping that I do run into one, and there's an understanding there. And they say they can sense your intentions. I hear that from a lot of people in the know, supposedly.
Right. And who, there is nobody that is a professional Sasquatch with all knowledge of all this. Right. But yes, that's a good answer, good theory. And I kind of tend to agree with what you're saying. I kind of think there's a lot more to this. Right. It is not a hominid. A lost relic from the branch of evolution, like I once thought.
Right.
It's something more. I think so too.
Opinion. I don't think it was on that evolution stage.
Right.
I don't think it's something you can put into that stage that from this to that. I don't think it fits in there. I think it was something totally separate that was been here, like I said, many years before we have, and they were the main figures in this. Before man even became man.
Right.